Hello. We're rereading chapter 7, and we're gonna read. It's called The Marvelous Ears. Miss LeBerry's gonna try a British accent for Sophie, but we will see if it works. Okay. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna think out loud. I'm gonna hit some things that we definitely did not understand on Wednesday. I think, I'm glad we got to do chapter 6 and 7. Miss Kappas did a deep dive of chapter 6. Please, please, please make sure you're watching these videos. I will have a secret word at some point today during this video, and it will be an answer on the quiz because we got to make sure you're watching them, okay? Ready? Back in the cave, the big friendly giant sat Sophie down once again on the enormous table. Is you quite snugly there in your nightie? He asked. You isn't friggy cold? I'm fine, Sophie said. I cannot help thinking, said the BFG, about your poor mother and father. By now they must be jipping and scumping all over the house, shouting, Hello, hello, where is Sophie gone? Oh, I don't have a mother or a father, Sophie said. They both died when I was a baby. Oh, you... No, not British. Oh, you poor little scrumplet, cried the BFG. Is you missing them very badly? So pause right here. So Miss LeBerry's question last time on our quiz was, what happened to Sophie's parents? It's right here in the text. I don't have a mother and father, Sophie said. They both died when I was a baby. She's in an orphanage. We know when people go to an orphanage or it's called Boys and Girls Home, it's because they don't have family to live with, okay? Not really, Sophie said, because I never knew them. You was making me sad, the BFG said, rubbing his eyes. Oh, don't be sad, Sophie said. No one is going to be worrying too much about me. That place you took me from was the village orphanage. We are all orphans there. You is an orphan? Yes. How many is there in there? Oh, 10 of us, Sophie said, all little girls. Was you happy there? The BFG asked. I hated it, Sophie said. Now, this is also a question from the quiz. She said she hated it. Now, we're about to find out why. Okay? The woman who ran it was called Mrs. Clonkers, and if she caught you breaking any of the rules, like getting out of bed at night or not folding up your clothes, you got punished. How is you getting punished? She locked us in the dark cellar for a day and a night without anything to eat or drink. That rotten old rot rasper, cried the BFG. Oh, it was horrid, Sophie said. We used to dread it. There were rats down there. We could hear them creeping about. So, how did Mrs. Clonkers at the orphanage treat them badly? She punished them. Oh, I'm going to go back to the text. How did she punish them? She locked us in a dark cellar. Cellar is another word for basement. For a day and night without anything to eat or drink. Oh, and there was rats down there. There were rats down there. We could hear them creeping about. I would not want to do that. The filthy old fizzwiggler! Shouted the BFG. That is the horridest thing I is hearing for years. You was making me sadder than ever. All at once, a huge tear that would have filled a bucket rolled down one of the BFG's cheeks and fell with a splash on the floor. It made quite a puddle. Sophie watched with astonishment. What a strange and moody creature this is, she thought. One moment he is telling me my head is full of squash flies, and the next moment his heart is melting for me because Mrs. Clonkers locks us in the cellar. Oh, the thing that worries me, Sophie said, is having to stay in this dreadful place for the rest of my life. The orphanage was pretty awful, but I wouldn't have been there forever, would I? Oh, it's my fault, the BFG said. I is the one who kid-snatched you. Yet another enormous tear welled from his eye and splashed on the floor. Now I come to think of it, I won't actually be here all that long, Sophie said. "I's afraid you will," the BFG said. "No, I won't," Sophie said. "Those brutes out there are bound to catch me sooner or later and have me for tea." "I is never letting that happen," the BFG said. For a few moments the cave was silent. Then Sophie said, "May I ask you a question?" The BFG wiped the tears from his eyes at the back of his hand and gave Sophie a long, thoughtful stare. "Shoot away," he said. "Would you please tell me what you were doing in our village last night? Why were you poking that long trumpet thing into the Gucci children's bedroom and then blowing through it?" Alert, alert. So a lot of you got the question wrong about what does the BFG use to catch dreams. Right here, it's saying that he uses the trumpet to release the dreams into the kids' homes, right? This is not how he catches it. A lot of you were like so confused. Well, Miss LeBerry, it says that he uses a trumpet. Nope. He uses a trumpet to release the dreams into the children's homes. "Aha!" cried the BFG, sitting up suddenly in his chair. "Now we is getting nosier than a Parker." "And the suitcase you were carrying," Sophie said. "What on earth was that all about?" The BFG stared suspiciously at the small girl sitting cross-legged at the table. "You was asking me to tell you wopsy big secrets," he said. "Secrets that nobody is ever hearing before." "I won't tell a soul," Sophie said. "I swear it. How could I anyway? I'm stuck here for the rest of my life." "You could be telling other giants." "No, I couldn't," Sophie said. "You tell me they would eat me up the moment they saw me." "And so they would," said the BFG. "You is a human being, and human beings is like strawbunkles and cream to those giants. Strawbunkles is gobblefunk for strawberries." Also, my secret word today is going to be jalapeno because I had jalapenos on my pizza. "If they're going to eat me the moment they see me, then I wouldn't have time to tell them anything, would I?" Sophie said. "You wouldn't," said the BFG. "Then why did you say I might?" "Because I is brimful of buzzburgers," the BFG said. "If you listen to everything I'm saying, you'll be getting an earache." "Please tell me what you were doing in our village," Sophie said. "I promise you can trust me." "Would you teach me how to make an elephant?" the BFG asked. "What do you mean?" Sophie said. "I would dearly love to have an elephant to ride on," said the BFG said dreamily. "I would so much love to have a jumbly big elephant and go riding through green forests, picking peachy fruits off the trees all day long. This is a sizzling hot, muck-frumping country we is living in. Nothing grows in it except snozzcumbers. I would love to go somewhere else and pick peachy fruits in the early morning from the back of an elephant." So we know that the BFG, what he wants, what's his dream? He wants to ride an elephant through green forests picking peachy fruits. I kind of want that too. It sounds really nice. Sophie was quite confused, quite moved by this curious statement. "Perhaps one day we will get you an elephant," she said, "and peachy fruits as well. Now tell me, what were you doing in our village?" "If you is really wanting to know what I'm doing in your village," the BFG said, "I is blowing a dream into the bedroom of those children." So the BFG goes and he uses that long trumpet to blow dreams into the bedroom of these children. "Blowing a dream?" Sophie said. "What do you mean?" "I is a dream-blowing giant," the BFG said. "When all the other giants is galloping off every what way in which to swallow up human beings, I is scuttling," moving quickly, "to other places to blow dreams into the bedrooms of sleeping children. Nice dreams, lovely golden dreams, dreams that is giving the dreamers a happy time." "Now hang on a minute," Sophie said. "Where do you get these dreams?" I collect them, the BFG said, waving an arm towards all the rows and rows of bottles on the shelves. I has billions of them. You can't collect a dream, Sophie said. A dream isn't something you can just catch a hold of. You was never going to understand it, the BFG said. This is why I was not wishing to tell you. Oh, please tell me, Sophie said. I will understand. Go on. Tell me how you collect dreams. Tell me everything. The BFG settled himself comfortably in his chair and crossed his legs. Dreams, he said, is very mysterious things. They is floating around in the air like a little wispy, misty bubbles, and all the time they is searching for sleeping people. Can you see them? Sophie asked. Never at first. Then how do you catch them if you can't see them? Sophie asked. Aha, said the BFG. Now we is getting on the dark and dusky secrets. I won't tell a soul. I is trusting you, the BFG said. He closed his eyes and sat quite still for a moment while Sophie waited. A dream, he said, as it goes whiffling through the night air, is making a tiny buzzing, humming noise. But this buzzy hum is so silvery soft it is impossible for a human being to be hearing it. Can you hear it? Sophie asked. The BFG pointed up to his enormous truck wheel ears, which he now began to move in and out. He performed his exercise proudly with a little proud smile on his face. Is you seeing these? He asked. Oh, how could I miss them? They maybe is looking a bit preposterous, too. Preposterous means ridiculous. They do look really ridiculous, the BFG said. But you must believe me when I say this is very extra usual ears indeed. They is not to be coughed at. I'm quite sure they're not, Sophie said. They is allowing me to hear absolutely every single twiddly little thing. You mean you can hear things I can't hear? Sophie said. You is as deaf as a dumpling compared to me, cried the BFG. You was hearing only thumping loud noise with those little earwigs of yours, but I am hearing all secret whisperings of the world. Such as what? Sophie asked. In your country, he said, I is hearing the footsteps of a ladybird as she's walking across a leaf. Ladybird means a ladybug. Honestly, Sophie said, beginning to be impressed. What's more is I hear those footsteps very loud, BFG said. When a ladybird is walking across a leaf, I is hearing her feet going clumpity-clump, like giant's footsteps. Good gracious me, Sophie said. What else can you hear? I is hearing the little ants chittering to each other as they scuttle around in the soil. You mean you can hear ants talking? Every single word, the BFG said, although I is not exactly understanding their language. Go on, Sophie said. Sometimes on a very clear night, the BFG said, and if I is swiggling my ears in the right direction, and here he swiveled his ears upwards so they could be facing the ceiling. If I is swiggling them like this and the night is very clear, I sometimes hear faraway music coming from the stars in the sky. Ooh, I wonder where that's coming from. A queer little shiver passed through Sophie's body. She sat very quiet, waiting for more. My ears is what told me you was watching me out your window last night, the BFG said. But I didn't make a sound, Sophie said. I was hearing your heart beating across the road, the BFG said, loud as a drum. Go on, Sophie said, please. I can hear plants and trees. Do they talk? Sophie asked. They is not exactly talking, the BFG said, but they is making noises. For instance, if I come along and I is picking a lovely flower, I is twisting the stem of the flower till it breaks. Then the plant is screaming. I can hear it screaming and screaming very clear. You don't mean it, Sophie cried. How awful. It is screaming just like you would be screaming if someone was twisting your right arm off. Is that really true? Sophie asked. You think I is figgling you? So she asked if something's true. You think I is figgling you? Am I tricking you? It is rather hard to believe. Then I is stopping right here, said the BFG sharply. I is not wishing to be called a fibster. Oh, no, I'm not calling you anything, Sophie cried. I believe you, I do. Really, please go on. The BFG gave her a long, hard stare. Sophie looked right back at him, her face open to his. I believe you, she said softly. She had offended him, she could see that. I wouldn't ever be fibbling to you, he said. I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't, Sophie said, but you must understand that it isn't easy to believe such amazing